Hello, welcome back to another episode. My name is Jesylee and I'm your host, featuring Slami. Slami is also the host. In this episode, I want to talk about and really teach you how to stop spiraling in relationships. By the way, I look like a bumblebee. I don't know if you guys, I don't know. I love it. It's really cute. Okay, so I used to be the biggest anxious wreck, dysregulated, dysfunctional person in relationships. And it's fair to say that I have become a master at relationships. I'm literally currently going through a breakup, and this is like wild to think that for the first time in my life, I'm not really spiraling at all. Yes, I miss him. Yes, I'm grieving. There is a grieving process. There is a healing process, and this requires time and depth and all of that. But I used to spiral. You know what I mean? It used to affect me so deeply. And so that's really what I want to cover today. And you can be in a relationship, or you can be in a situationship, you can be dating, you could have just broken up. This applies to all circumstances. So for me, when I used to get really anxious, I used to spiral, and this was because I was completely dysregulated. And the thing that I need you to understand, and this is what it took for me to understand in my relationships and what was actually going on within me to finally break the cycle, because it's all good and well to be like, I'm not being abandoned. He hasn't left me. I'm being treated well, or it's you can be delusional as fuck as you like, but it's essentially not going to do much. Like, you will keep ending up in the same situation, just like I was. I was doing that for end on end, but I was still feeling dysregulated. I was still anxious. I was still afraid that this person was going to leave me. I was hypervigilant. I was self-sabotaging. I was doing all of that. I was very, very dysfunctional. And I would spiral end on end. Okay? This used to be my experience, and I can tell you right now it's completely changed. And the reason why this has changed is because I worked with the very thing that was causing me to be this way in the first place. My body, my nervous system. A lot of us want to try to talk ourselves out of it mentally without actually having to work with our physical body, our physical vessel. And I am telling you that I do this in all areas of my life, and I have completely changed. I'm a very highly sensitive person. I'm a very deep person. I feel things so deeply, so intensely. I have so many big emotions. That hasn't changed. But I've been able to learn to build capacity within my nervous system so that I know how to hold my big emotions. I know how to feel without getting lost. I know how to regulate myself without losing my fucking mind, without feeling like my whole world is falling apart, which used to be my experience, by the way. So you're not alone. And I know this can be challenging, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I promise you that if you just do this, you will be on that other end. Now, this is not to say that you won't come up against anxiety or you won't feel. It's just how you deal with it. You are a human being. You're allowed to have big emotions. You are even allowed to lose your fucking shit. You are allowed to lose your marbles. That is okay. But it's in the process of how we support and show up for ourselves in those moments and throughout that process. So many people I work with, they come to me and they're like, I'm this, and I hate it. And I'm like, hold on. Let's just wind back a little bit. What if you learn to love those parts of you, and instead of fighting against trying to change all of those little parts, imperfections, those emotions, the anxiety, the parts of you that you don't like, what if you learn to love that part of you and hold space, show up for that part of you? And how different would that experience be if you stopped pushing yourself away just because you're feeling these big emotions or just because you're spiraling, but you actually show up with compassion, with love, and you learn to regulate? How different would that feel, and would that experience be long term? It would be so different. You would have such a different experience in your relationships. So how do we navigate this? Really, looking at your body as a vehicle. Every single time you feel triggered or you're spiraling or these emotions, that isn't the problem. It's the fact that you feel so unsafe. It's the fact that you think that you're being abandoned and you're being left by this person, that then you feel so unsafe within yourself, which causes you to spiral. And so something that I got really, really good at is learning to working with my body, which is a vehicle. And this is how I see my body. I used to be so dysregulated and so anxious nonstop, all the time. And so I started looking, because instead of shaming myself and wanting to change that experience, which doesn't get you very far, I started looking at my triggers as my body, my nervous system, just having been conditioned and trained to feel unsafe. So whenever I'm spiraling or I'm triggered, that is an indication that my body doesn't feel safe. I don't feel safe. So rather than trying to delusionally talk myself out of what I'm thinking about, because when you're in a trigger, you just reminisce on it. You can't stop thinking about it. And so you just get so lost in it. And so instead of navigating that, which I used to do at the beginning, and I think a lot of people do, you want to understand what is actually going on. It's, I feel triggered, I feel dysregulated. And you want to combat that. You want to work with your body. Your body feels unsafe. You feel unsettled. What happens? You feel anxious. Your heart rate may increase. You may get some shakes. Your stomach may feel like this like knot in your stomach. You may feel your throat closing up. You may feel your shoulders tense. Working with your body, noticing what's going on and noticing the moment of, I feel unsafe. And this is an opportunity to teach my body that I feel safe. Why? Because if you actually look around the room in the moment of you spiraling or you feeling triggered, there is nothing wrong that is happening. But your body and your mind does not know the difference between it actually happening, what's actually happening right now, and what you have created in your mind. So right now, your lived story, you could literally be in your bedroom chilling out. You feel like it's so safe. There is no danger. There's no threat. But you are spiraling the fuck out. You are so anxious because you're afraid of this person is leaving you or abandoning you, which is just something that is just you felt over and over and over and over again. It's just it's like a habit. right? It's just a habit. You've just learnt it, that you just do it on automatic. You don't even think about it. But if you actually look around you, there is no danger. You're safe. And this is something that I really had to teach my body. Like, oh my God, I'm safe. I'm safe. This person isn't abandoning me. No one's leaving me. I'm okay. And that gets to be your lived experience. Imagine if you literally were in a relationship where you felt safe, where you felt confident, where you got to communicate your needs, where you got to be vulnerable. And I mean, all of this is something that you have to boldly take action on. Like, there is going to be a point in your life where you're like, I have to just, like, it's going to scare the shit out of you. But doing that is going to teach your nervous system. It's going to teach your body that, hey, it's safe to do this. And you do it over and over again, you'll have no problems. I promise you. But at the beginning, it feels so unsettling. You've got to learn to settle your nervous system. You've got to learn to teach your body that you're actually safe. That is the key to really healing and rewiring your nervous system out of that dysfunctional behavior in relationships, because that's what I used to be like. I used to be so dysregulated and so dysfunctional. There gets to be an experience in relationships where you get to be yourself and you get to communicate. You get to shine your light and you get to be yourself. And I think that's the most important thing. When you can show up as your true, authentic self from the beginning, where you're not afraid of being abandoned or rejected, therefore you don't abandon yourself, then you get to really, that's when you get to allow, like, you get to attract relationships that are in alignment with yourself. The most authentic relationships that are healthy, that are in alignment with your soul and your heart, and where you can both match the depth of each other. That can be your experience, and that gets to be your experience, but only once you've really learned to show up for yourself. And this requires you to pull your energy back, take your energy back, take your power back. You may be you may be so used to putting all of your eggs in their basket, always focusing on them, always making sure that they're okay. Maybe you're thinking about them 24/7. This is part of the process. This is part of pulling yourself back out of that conditioned way of operating. It's like really focusing on yourself and asking yourself, why am I so focused on them? And why can't I focus on myself? What am I afraid of? And it's like, again, you feel unsafe. You feel unsafe having to focus on yourself and having to pursue your goals or do your own thing, because it's like the moment I stop focusing on them, then I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. And this is a control thing. This is something I used to struggle with a lot. It's a control thing, but at the end of the day, it's just your nervous system doesn't feel safe. So this is where we really need to show up for ourselves and take responsibility. Now, I will say that this doesn't mean that you ignore how they are treating you or showing up. If they are triggering you because they're inconsistent, they're rude, or they just hit you up when they feel like it, that even to a secure person, let me tell you, even to a secure person, someone who is secure, that doesn't have any anxious attachments or whatever, they will still feel triggered by that, because love isn't unconditional, right? It's not pure, like, because I say this because this used to be my experience, where I used to blame myself, even though I was triggered and I was doing all the work as well, but I was triggered because they were showing up in a very dysfunctional way, but I was kind of ignoring it. And turning a blind eye and blaming myself and like being like, I just need to heal more. But then I realized even the most secure people, really, they will get triggered by it because it's inauthentic, it's dysfunctional. And what a secure person would do is go, this is not healthy, and this is not the type of person I want in my life. This isn't the type of love that shows up consistently and stability wise. So I'm going to walk away. And I've really learned how to walk away from people that I notice that are avoidant or that are inconsistent, and they're not healthy for my nervous system, especially if you're like really learning to heal your nervous system. So let's just circle back to this, because I know in your heart that you really want to experience healthy relationships and the love that you deserve. And it is available to you, whether it's with the person now or whether it's with someone else. I know in your heart, you're probably very hard on yourself, and we can never shame ourselves or be tough on ourselves and have that heal us, because that never works. So I want you to just be more kinder to yourself and more gentle, and just have more compassion, and get rid of that expectation that you should or have already be healed, or you shouldn't be spiraling or anxious anymore, because that's just bullshit. That's just you rejecting and denying that part of you. So allow that part of you in, but also know that you get to experience a healthy love and a healthy relationship, and you're learning how to. So give yourself a lot of love and patience. And you don't need to rush this process. Even put a hand on your heart if that feels comfortable. And right now, just settle into your body and notice how that feels. And just allow yourself to be here. And just tell yourself how proud of you are, because it's not easy. You've been through a lot. And your nervous system is still learning. And every time you show up for yourself, you're teaching yourself how safe love really is, and how love never really leaves you, and how it doesn't really matter how someone shows up. That's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is really how you show up for yourself. That's the most important thing. And so if you have been leaking your energy, or maybe giving it away to people that don't deserve it, or just people in general, I want you to call back your energy, call back your power. Drop into your heart and just be still for a minute. I want you to instruct your nervous system and your body that you are safe. So you can say, I am safe. And I want you to say this out loud if you can. I am safe. I get to be safe. All is working out for me. Love is within me. I am not being abandoned. I cannot be abandoned. And rejection isn't a sign or anything to do with my worth. It is simply redirection. Notice how your body feels, and notice how you feel in this moment. And just breathe and let yourself be here. You can open your eyes, look around the room, and see just how safe you are. Send yourself a lot of love and gratitude for all that you have done and all that you are doing. And you deserve to be here. You deserve unconditional love. You get to experience unconditional love. It gets to be easy. It gets to be fun. And just feel the gratitude within your heart. And I want you to be so proud of yourself and how proud of how far you've come. Because I guarantee you that there is not that many people in this world that are doing the work that you're doing. And that will take accountability. You're here to grow. You're here to learn. You're here to step into the best version of yourself. And that is brave. That takes courage. And I want to remind you that every single little thing that you do, meaning every time you show up for yourself, even if it's for a minute, every time you take a couple of minutes out of your day to say how proud of yourself you are, every time you just take a second and you breathe and you teach your nervous system that you are safe, every bit of self-love and self-compassion that you give to yourself, that is all of that creates change. And all of that is so impactful and is so important. That is the work that you are doing to change. And it's not even to change to become someone better. It's really just to step into your own power and to remember who the fuck you are, to step into this worthy being that you already are. It's a remembrance. You deserve every damn thing that you want on this planet. It's relationships, money, success, recognition. You deserve it all. But only you can give that to yourself first. So it's all about showing up for yourself. Teaching yourself what it's like to feel safe in your body and what it's like to feel loved. We always want someone else to love. We want to be in this beautiful relationship, right? This beautiful, deep relationship. But we don't realize it's the feeling that we really desire. And the feeling is something that you can feel internally right now. You can feel loved. You can feel seen. You are the one that is meant to show up and guide yourself. You want to be seen by yourself. You want to be recognized by yourself. You are the one that's to recognize who you really are. Because there's this little child that lives within you that didn't get the love that she deserved or he deserved, that didn't get the recognition, that didn't feel safe in their body to be who they were. So they learned to shut down. They learned to not communicate their needs. They learned that vulnerability meant that was danger. And they learned to become a people pleaser. They learned to prioritize other people above their own. So what it is right now is it's really important for you to learn to prioritize yourself and show up for yourself in those little moments every single day. And teach your body, Teach your body as if it's like your inner child. This is what I do. When I'm instructing my body and I'm talking to my body, like I'm working with my body, I imagine it as though it's like my 6-year-old self. This little girl that didn't receive the love that she needed, the unconditional love that she needed. And I show up for her and I reparent her. I give her what she needs and what she has always needed growing up and what she didn't get. And now what she seeks in relationships. Now I grew up tough love. I grew up playing competitive sports and, wanting to be a professional singer, and there was so much pressure around that I had to perform for love. This is what I grew up having to perform for love. Everything was a performance. So I got really good at performing, but it meant having to prove myself and having to earn. And I had no idea how it was like, what it was like to show up for myself and really just know that like I'm already worthy and I don't need to prove myself. It really took some time for me to realize that I was performing for love because I didn't receive unconditional love. No one ever told me I was proud of me, that they were proud of me. I had to start telling myself every single day, I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. I love you. And I had to stop earning love. I had to stop working really hard. I had to stop performing. And I had to teach myself that it's safe to be vulnerable. It's safe to be myself. And that love doesn't mean abandoning me. So I no longer abandon myself in relationships. And I've taught myself, my body, what it's like to feel safe in that truth. And that is true embodiment. You can't delusionally tell yourself using affirmations that you're safe and that you're worthy, because it doesn't work. Your nervous system has to know it. It has to feel it. And this is how you rewire your body. This is how I was able to stop spiraling in my relationships and going through a breakup currently. And how I'm not spiraling is because my nervous system already knows I'm safe. Nothing's leaving me, because it felt like love was leaving me, and like a part of me died, or like there was a hole, or there was like something missing within me. It's hard to explain it, but it just felt like I was missing something, and it felt empty and it felt hollow and it just felt horrible. And that was just because it was this familiar experience, having grown up and experiencing people abandoning me my whole life. And so it was something that I had to learn to heal within me and learn that's like to feel safe within that. No, like that's not the experience anymore. That's not what's happening. Even if a relationship ends or someone doesn't choose me, that doesn't mean that that I'm experiencing that same feeling, that this part of me is missing. Like I feel empty inside. It was kind of like that feeling. And I taught myself like that love is still in here and that I'm safe. Because the truth is love can never leave you because it's within you. It's within you. You are love. That person is activating a feeling within you that you can just activate that feeling within yourself. It's already within you. It's not like they give something to you that was missing, because there was nothing that was missing in the first place. And that's what I had to teach myself. I was like, oh my God, this feeling that is so, it's conditioned and habitual. So it was something that it was just familiar, but it wasn't true. Love never left me. So gradually and I really put myself out there with dating and things like that, but gradually as people rejected me, or, I went through that experience of someone leaving me, it felt so horrible to begin with. But then but then I was like, but that's not the experience. That's just something that I felt when I was younger and that I continued to relive as though it was happening, but it's not actually happening that way. And I taught myself, or really I reminded myself, but I taught my nervous system that love is always in here and it remains in here. And that feeling doesn't leave. So now through the breakup, it's not like I feel like a part of me is missing and I need him and I'm nothing without him, which is what I used to feel. It's more just like grieving the relationship we had, grieving what it could have been, and grieving all of these versions, or grieving a version of me that was with him, and like missing certain elements. Like that's part of the process. But if you feel like you lose yourself or you've lost yourself in a relationship when it has ended, or even during it, then it's because you've completely submerged yourself with the relationship. It's called enmeshment. It's like losing your sense of identity or autonomy. That's because you were taught that love is found in other people, and it's not. So that's something that you've got to teach yourself, because love is never found outside of you. Nothing is ever found outside of you. It's always within you. It's always in here. Remember that. I don't have to lose myself just because someone has left me or a relationship has ended. I don't have to lose myself just because someone didn't choose me. And actually drop into your body and into that feeling, that state, that love is in here. And I love myself. And I show up for myself in whatever way I need to. That is how we stop spiraling. That is how we stop losing ourselves in relationships. I hope this helps you. I really hope this helps you. If you would like to be guided in a one-on-one session with me, or you would like to work with me to specifically help with this issue, then you can work with me one-on-one. You can use the link in my bio. And just remember that love can never leave you, because love is already within you, okay? And it gets to be so good, okay? I love you guys. Thank you for listening if you're here all the way to the end. And I will see you next week. Bye.